Hello, this is an introduction to our factoring unit, our Unit 6 on factoring. And first thing we're going to talk about is greatest common factor. Now, just so you know, factoring is often known or thought of as the inverse of distribution. Instead of distributing terms, what I want to do is I want to find something that this is divisible by. All right, so here is what I see when I see this problem. I have 40x squared plus 70. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to factor out the greatest common factor. All right, now here is what I see. I see that I have, well, an x squared. Well, x squared, since I don't have an x here, I can't really factor out an x squared or an x. But I do have a 40 and a 70, and both of those are divisible by 10. So I'm going to go ahead and factor out a 10, and let's talk about what's left over. I have 40 divided by 10. This would be left with a 4, and then I have an x squared still. And then finally plus, well, 70 divided by 10, I'm left with a 7 here. My final answer on this one is 10 times 4x squared plus 7. And I can double check this if you distribute. 10 times 4x squared is 40x squared. 10 times 7 is 70. And if you notice, 4x squared and 7, those don't have anything else you can factor out. So that is our greatest common factor. All right, let's look at the next level here. Ooh, all right. So here is what I see. I have negative 50x squared plus 45. All right, so looking at this, I have a 50 and a 45. Now, the way that I see this is both of those are divisible by 5. So let's go ahead and factor out a 5 here and talk about what is left over here. Well, negative 50 divided by 5 is going to be a negative 10, and I still have an x squared. And then finally, 45 divided by 5, I'm still left with a 9. All right. Now, something that I see here is that you could have also factored out a negative 5. That would just change your answer to 10x squared. And then finally, that would be a negative 9. I'm pretty sure they would accept both of those answers. Let's try the first one to see if they'll accept that. So I have 5 times negative 10x squared plus 9. And let's see if that will work. Yep, they did accept that. All right, last type, greatest common factor, variable only. Ooh, all right. Oh boy. Now some of you guys might see this and you're like, oh boy, well, we don't really have numbers here. We simply have variables. Well, think about this. I have a y plus x cubed. Think about that. This is 3 x's, y to the 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what do these have in common? Well, both of these have a y in common. All right, now wait a second. Right here, if I take away the y, I know it's tempting to say that there is nothing left, but remember, there's understood that there was only one y there to begin with. So this needs to have a 1. Now let's talk about what is left here. I still have my 3 x's, so I have x to the 3rd. But instead of my 4 y's, this will be y to the 3rd. And you can double check your work. Think about if you distribute this out. Y times 1 is plain old y times x cubed, y cubed. Well, that would be x cubed, y to the 4th. My final answer here is y times 1 plus x cubed, y cubed. And there we go. All right, so you should have plenty of information on how to do these first 3 on the greatest common factors. Go ahead and get started.